this is Romy, and I figured it was time for an update from the garden. It's been about a week or so since I last updated, and the reason I haven't done an update since then is because things are just growing, but nothing new has come up. But just for the people that are curious, um, my peas are doing okay. They're growing. The the tallest one is right here. It's on this side of the trellis now, like on top. But they're doing really well, and I'm getting really excited because they should be producing flowers soon. Um, right here is the kai choi that I transplanted. A couple of them didn't make it, but overall they're doing okay. There's new growth on most of them, if you notice there, right there. So they're doing fairly well. I don't have anything here, but back there where you see the darker area, I put some compost and some manure down, and I sowed in some sugar snap peas there. Um, the other peas, those right there, those are shelling peas, so they're gonna get plumper. But these ones, you can just eat right off the plants, so that's doing okay. Nothing's come up, but I only sowed that in a couple of days ago. My radishes over there are definitely growing, but I have a feeling that none of these are going to produce bulbs because they're a little leggy because that area doesn't get a lot of sun right now. So either I'm going to leave a couple of them to go to seed, because even if they don't have tubers, they can still produce seed. And I'll probably harvest the rest for the greens when they get a little bit bigger. As you can tell in the front row, something's been chewing on them, and I know they're slugs. So I have some environmentally friendly little pellets that, if you see on the ground, these little things right here. That's what I use, and they're organic. So I don't know how well they work because I still get damage, but they do control it a little bit. So that's what I've been using. In this dark area, I sewed in some Butter Crunch lettuce for my mom. Um, she said that those are a little bit more heat tolerant from past experience, so I decided to go ahead and sow those, and probably let one of those go to seeds because so I can collect some seeds. My fenugreek is doing good. There's finally some leaves coming up. I think it was because they weren't getting the nutrients they needed, or it was just raining too much. I don't know. But they're finally growing, and once these actually, get to a good height, I'm gonna go ahead and pull them and use them in whatever however my mom wants to prepare them. But I'm not gonna leave them in here to cut and harvest again. My lettuce is doing really good after the rain. We had rain a couple of days ago. It was still actually raining this morning, but as you can tell, that needs to be harvested. So I think I'm gonna harvest some for dinner today. In this container I have a cucumber, and the reason I use the bottle is because it gets windy out here and I just baby my plants a lot. but yeah, so I planted this about a week ago, and it's doing okay. There wasn't any transplant shock, which is a good thing because from prior experience, cucumbers don't like to be transplanted. Like, they don't like their roots disturbed, because every time I used to transplant before, they they would not make it. But this year I think I did okay, so it's doing fine so far. I'm gonna have it go up this tomato cage and then on this thing. Let's see if it works, but I think it will, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. I also sewed in some seeds, some Japanese cucumber seeds, right along that fence line. I did that the same time I did the peas, so I think they'll do better if you start them in the ground. Like I said, with prior experience, they don't like to be transplanted. My onion's doing really good. I'm going to be harvesting a couple of these today, the greens. So is the garlic. The kai choy that I put in here, I think something got into all of the containers. Again, I think it was slugs. And they damaged, they ate a lot of the leaves. And I noticed, and that's when I put the little pallets down for that, for the snails and slugs. So since then, there hasn't been any eating going on in here. This little guy, that little guy, pretty sad looking things, and this little guy right here, they are all either cauliflower or broccoli or cabbage, but they're doing okay. And then in this one, in this bag right here, I planted some potatoes, and there's little tiny sprouts coming out. Don't know if you can see that right there, but they're doing okay. The lettuce in that bed, in that container, as you can tell, it's gotten huge. I'm not gonna harvest these like the outer leaves. I'm just gonna let them get bigger and then just pull them, because that bed is reserved for something else. What I did do though was I sowed in soybeans in the middle, so by the time these are ready to harvest, the soybeans should come up, and that's what's gonna go in that container, soybeans or edamame. The purple or amaranth radishes are doing good. I sowed in the middle, if you see the little seedlings that have come up, those are giant crimson radishes. So when I'm done harvesting these, those will be, already growing. And then where I have these, I'll probably sow in something else. Probably string beans or green beans or something like that. We'll see. These radishes are doing really good. They're forming bulbs, if you can, or tubers. The lettuce is doing really good too. The black-seeded Simpson or crimson. There you go. There's a better shot of the radishes. These will be ready to harvest in about a few days. The spinach. This is the giant noble or noble giant. Yeah, they're doing okay. They're growing. The lettuce is doing okay. Something that's changed since last time are these potatoes. As you can see, these are the fingerling potatoes that I'm growing in a bucket. And if you notice, there's a lot of sprouts coming in. This is 3 potatoes in there, 3 fingerling potatoes. There's a whole bunch of them coming out. There's sprouts everywhere. And then that video I did with the bag and my fingerling potatoes, there's sprouts on that one too. And there's about 5 or 6 plants coming up on this one too. And that's off of 2 potatoes. So that's really good. Those potatoes right there are almost ready to be held all the way to the top. When they get a little bit bigger, I'm gonna add more soil to it and then just let them grow after that. So they're doing good. Lots of new growth on my Pequin pepper. Lots and lots of new growth, which is a really good thing. If you notice, there and there. So she's ready to produce. The freckled lettuce grew a lot since last time. Both the beds, and they're doing good. In this container, the carrots are growing. I harvested some lettuce the other day. I just cut them, and they're doing good. Still need to harvest this side, and the spinach is a good size now, so I'll probably harvest a few of these next week or later on this week. What I did in this container, these are the ones that has my bell peppers, and they're doing okay. I cut this one down even more because this is all the new growth that I saw, and I think the rest of it was dead anyway, so I just cut it down. I think it should be okay. But I added some soybeans that I had started inside, and they had outgrown those little cell things, so I just put them in here. I think they'll do okay with peppers. because there's already a good length and the peppers are still like just getting growth on it, they'll be tall enough to not get overshadowed by the peppers. So I think they'll be okay, but we will wait and see. Here's my little apple, I think. Let me focus in. But here you go. This sprouted up in this pot, the pot of different sprouts. And I took it out. I actually pulled one out and threw it away because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a weed. But I pulled it out and I put it in that little container because I got curious. I was like, what do these things they keep popping out in all my containers, not realizing that I have the bad habit of just sticking seeds in containers when I'm done eating a fruit. So, yeah, that's how they started popping out. So, that's that. Here's another apple seedling. This one actually came up in this container, and I'm just going to leave it. I'll probably add some fertilizer or something, some compost or something to that later on to help it grow. In this container, I have different types of basils, and there's supposed to be lemon, purple, and Greek basil in here. And I just set them in this little container, and they're growing. There's some purple. I can see the purple for sure, and 3 or 4 of those came up. So that's doing good. It's growing really slowly, and I managed to kill the other basils except that one. I can't grow herbs from seeds. I'm terrible at it. These are the red lettuces that I had transplanted. It looks like there's one casualty. Yeah. It was probably because it rained so much right after I transplanted these, and but we'll see how they go. The peanuts are doing okay. It's been raining a lot. It's been sitting out here. I mean, there's good drainage holes. Maybe I'll add some to the side. But I think it's doing okay. There's growth on it. These are my pansies. I put them outside. I'm starting to bring stuff outside now. And this is my sage, my little baby sage that I grew from. There you go. That I grew from seed. In this container, I have more edamames or soybeans that it's just to keep on the side. If the ones in that container don't make it, then I'll just take these out and put them in there, just backups. So yeah, that's the garden, and things are moving along. I'm still contemplating if I should bring my tomatoes out here and put them in the ground, but it's warm. I mean, there's no danger of frost or freeze anymore, so I can bring them out. But I'm just gonna wait, maybe another week or so, before I put them in the ground. They grow fairly quickly, so once you put them in the ground, they take off almost immediately. So yeah, that's the update. Until next time, I hope everybody's garden is doing really well. I look forward to your updates, and I will talk to you guys soon. Happy gardening, everybody. Bye.